of a sudden Jesus walked out, and there she stood, guilty and dirty and vile. Sure, she was a woman of guilty. No telling how many acquaintances and relationships and illegitimate children she had. Shacked up, lived together, dirty and nasty. No moral standing in her life at all. How would you like to stand before Jesus, filthy and dirty, your clothes in your arms? There you stand, and the law won't even let you get dressed. The laws are there, all the commandments are standing there with their stones, and Jesus walks out, and you don't even have to ask what's going on. They said, Lord, Moses said, we're to stone her. But what sayest thou? Jesus never answered. But the Bible said he stooped down and started writing in the sand. I don't know what he wrote. I know what I'd have wrote. I know what you did last week. And all of a sudden, he said, all right, I tell you what, here's the way we'll work this thing. We'll do what Moses said. There's only one prerequisite. The one that's without sin, you be the first one to throw the rocks. Step out here. Let us all see you loud and clear. You say she's guilty of breaking the law. Evidently you're not. Come on, buddy. Let's see how clean you are. Step up. Step up. Well, they all knew they were guilty of breaking the law. Some are just more public than others. And the Bible said all of a sudden a woman clutched her clothes over her head, gritted her teeth, and closed her eyes. But instead of the thudding of the rock piercing her body, she heard the thumps of the stones as they began to fall to the ground. She's standing there, she's dirty and nasty. And by the time she looks up over her clothes, there's nobody standing there. Nobody but Jesus. And he looked at her and said, where are thine accusers? She looked around and said, I don't have any. Here's what Jesus said. Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. Go. You're the Lord. You're a supernatural holy God. You mean you have forgiven me? They caught me in the very act. I'm dirty. I'm guilty. I'm vile. I'm unclean. I'm ungodly. Surely you're not going to let me go. She's standing there and she puts her garments on. Tears are running down her face. Excuse me, lady. Excuse me. I'm doing a report of a supernatural God. I just saw what happened. I don't understand it all. I don't either. Could you tell me something about him? Well, I just met him and I don't know much, but I just want the world to know that he's not only strong enough to break the chains, but I want everybody to know he's strong enough to blot out the stains. I want everybody to know that he's God enough. He's God enough to forgive me of everything I've... Oh, but wait a minute. This is a live report of a supernatural God. Is there anybody here tonight that Jesus is God enough to blot out your stains? Has he ever been God enough to blot out? I said, has he ever been God enough to blot out the stains? And I believe as she walked away, I want some volume on this blue microphone. I believe as she walked away, she sang that first verse, Brother Archie, of Amazing Grace. Stand up and sing it for me. This is what she sang.
How sweet.
Sing it, Brother Archie. Has he blotted out the stains? Sing it, Brother Archie.
Like me, I once was lost, but
have your sins been blotted out? Who was blind? Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Aren't you glad we serve a God that can blot out the stains? I was sitting here tonight thinking, about my life 35 years ago. My wife and I now we drive down the streets where I used to lay in my body. Now my beautiful wife and I hold hands and drive down those same streets. King James Bibles in our laps. Jesus in our heart. And brother, tears running down my face. I'm glad, thanks to Calvary, I don't have to live like that anymore. And let me tell you something, folks. God has forgiven you. Learn to forgive yourself. You say, preacher, every time I want to shout, I realize I'm not worthy. Could I help you a little bit tonight? We're not shouting because we're worthy. We're shouting because He's worthy. None of us are worthy. None of us are worthy. None of us are worthy. But He is worthy. He is worthy. He's God enough. He's God enough to blot out all the stains. God has forgiven you. Learn to forgive yourself. Make much of Jesus. Worship Him often. Thank Him for His blood. Thank Him for forgiveness. Thank Him for another chance. He's worthy. I can't believe this. We've just got another interruption. This is unbelievable. We got to go to a Babylonian palace now. We're leaving Israel. Take it, Michael. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. We've got bless you. Here we are in Babylon. There's huge gold statues you can see out in the middle of the park. Rock and roll bands playing. All of them look like they need sprayed, liquid worms. Look like a city kid has moved out of the city with riches. You put an odor eater in their shoe, they disappear, and you never bit of them. And they're thumping that rap music. Let me tell you something. You know what rap means? Retards attempting poetry. Brother Dreadlock, you get that tonight? Retards attempting poetry. That's what rap music is. And everybody's bowing. Except three little toe-headed boys. Excuse me, fellas, everybody's enjoying the boogie. You fellas, you don't like the dance? What's wrong with you? I mean, everybody else is doing it. Yeah, but we're in a far country. This is not our country. We don't boogie, we don't bow, and we're not going to burn either. You know the story. Nebuchadnezzar takes them into the fiery furnace and said, I tell you what, keep that dude up 7 times harder than it's ever been. I'm going to teach these little boys a lesson. We're going to scorch them to the bone. And the intensity of the fire was so hot that when they opened the mouth of it to throw the 3 Hebrew children in, bound, they were tied up. Even the men that cast them in died over the intensity of the flames. That's how hot. Before they ever got to the fire, they should have died. Nebuchadnezzar looks over the top of the furnace and said, oh, we got problems. Counselor, how many did we throw in that fire? 3. Are you sure it was positive? You sure it was 3? Stake my life on it, Nebuchadnezzar. We threw 3 young fellows in the fire. Boys, we got problems. Why? There's 4! And that 4th one looks just like the Son of God! He looks just like the Son of God! I want to ask you a question. Nebuchadnezzar had never seen the Son of God before. How could he tell that was the Son of God? By the way he was walking through the fire. Nebuchadnezzar said, get them boys out of here. I want to see all 3 of them right now. Put them out. The Bible said the only thing that burned was the bands that had them bound. And the first Independent Baptist Smithing Committee was there. Because the Bible said they didn't even have the smell of smoke on their clothes. Wouldn't some of you cigarette suckers like to find out how that happened? believe these fellas went through the fire. It didn't hurt them. Excuse me, fellas. Here, you got a minute. Look, I can't believe I only saw what I just saw. Well, you guys really, this isn't fake. You were, oh yeah, we were fine. Had a ball. Matter of fact, the fire brought us closer to Jesus than we'd ever been before. Brought me closer than I've ever been before. Now I'm about to enjoy this point whether you do or not. Could you tell me, fellas, we're doing a live report on the supernatural God. Is there something you can tell the audience about it? Well, I know he can break the chains. I know he can blot out all the stains. But I just want everybody to know he's strong enough to blow out the flames. I just want everybody to know. I just want everybody to know. It doesn't matter what the devil puts in your way. It doesn't matter how hot the devil may fire everything up. I want you to know there's a supernatural God in heaven that can take you through the fire. Oh, but wait a minute. I'm talking about a live interview of a supernatural God. Is there anybody here tonight that God's brought you through the fire? Has God brought you through the trial? Has God brought you through the valley? Has God brought you through the heartache? Has God brought you through the... Yes! There's a supernatural God that can bring you through the fire. He can blow out the flames. He didn't deliver them from the fire. He delivered them through the fire. Listen to me, folks. Behind all the excitement, behind all the handshakes and the beautiful smiles, this building's filled with people that are going through problems. There's folks here tonight about to lose their home. There's people here tonight that's lost their job. People here tonight, the economy stole their retirement. There's folks here tonight just found out they had cancer. The reports are not good. There's mom and dads here tonight that give all they could to invest in their children to turn out right, and they've turned out wrong. There's folks here that have followed preachers and the preachers have went bad, and they're hurt and they're scared. There's young people here on the brink of becoming adults and they're afraid of tomorrow and the things you'll have to face and decisions you have to make. We've got young people all over this tabernacle. When they leave this shouting environment tonight, they're going home to drunk dads and prostitute mothers. They live in single-wide, dilapidated trailers, and they don't have decent food, and all their clothes are hand-me-downs. And at birthdays and Christmases, it's just another day to them. And sometimes they wonder if God's forgot about them, and does he even care? But I got news for you, honey. There's a God in heaven that's brought me through the fire. I know what it is to be brought up in a drunkard's home and have to use a piece of clothesline for a belt. I know what it's like to have to put plastic bags over my feet and put them in my shoes because of the holes in the bottom of them, and the snow, keeping the snow off my feet while I staggered to school. I know what it is to wipe vomit out of a bathroom so I could get up and get ready to go to school the next day, step over drunks I'd never seen before in my life, and know what it is to live on Skid Row and go up next to a beer joint and sleep on park benches when I was 13 years old. I know what it is to go to mental wards and dry out clinics and jails and rehabs and tie you downs. I know what it is to have DTs and withdrawals and wish that the sun had never come up the next day. I know what it is to be suicidal and think that the world and I too would be better off if I wasn't even here. But I've got good news for you. There's a big sovereign God in heaven that can reach down in the mess you're in, save you by his marvelous grace. He can walk with you through the fire. I don't care what you face. I don't care what you face. I don't care what you face. There's a supernatural